The Darwin Award. Proper noun, one of the international honors awarded to people who supposedly helped to improve the human gene pool by removing themselves from it in a spectacularly stupid manner. Oh yeah, boys, girls, and everyone and anyone in between, what are your D&D Darwin Award stories, part 2? I'm Brian Von VA, and if you have a Darwin Award story you'd like to tell us, do so in the comments below. In my old 2nd edition AD&D campaign, back when I was in my teens, we had one player who died so often that whenever he did something monumentally stupid, we would quote Jim Henson's Dinosaurs and say, "We're gonna need another Timmy." The player's name was Tim. One time we came across a basilisk. Everyone at the table said, "I have hurt my eyes." That was everyone except for Tim. He said, I look right at it." He failed his saving throw, and we had to drag his petrified ass out of that particular dungeon crawl. We're gonna need another Timmy. Another time, the party was placed in a trapped room. Tim decided to test the trap by placing his foot on the trigger. The ceiling collapsed, tons upon tons of stone landing right on his foot. He didn't die, but he had to wear a hastily improvised prosthetic foot for the rest of the adventure. We're gonna need another Timmy. One time, Tim was playing a bard, specifically the Gallant Kit from the Bard's Handbook, and he was trying to seduce every woman he meets. The problem was that he wasn't trying to roleplay it. He was just saying, "I walk up to the most beautiful woman I can find and ask her to go to bed with me. Oh." The DM has the women slapping him, throwing drinks in his face, kneeing him in the crotch, etc. We all told him, "Dude, that's not how you play the gallant." But he kept insisting, "But that's what the book says. What the book actually says is that the gallant loved romance, but can never settle down with just one person. No. They always believe that there's a better love, a more attractive person, or a better romance in the next town, the next kingdom, the next continent, etc. And when trying to court a woman, they are far more eloquent than, 'Hey babe, I think you're kinda cute. Wanna f-?'" Which is essentially what his character was basically saying, since he refused to actually do any role-playing with one of the most role-playing-centric character classes in the game. Anyway, the DM got sick of his crap and had an NPC woman fall for his line. She drugged him and robbed him blind. She took everything, even his clothes. When he finally caught up with her, it turned out she was a high-ranking member of the local Thieves Guild. She told him, in no uncertain terms, that if he ever tried to pull something like that again, he wouldn't wake up at all. He didn't die that time, but we were so damn close to having to say, "We're gonna need another Timmy." My one intelligence Fallout RPG character named Minnow Haven Name tried to hug a Deathclaw on a Nat 1 perception check, thinking it was a cute scaly puppy. This guy was such a smooth brain, he thought half the nails in the box were broken because they were upside down. During one campaign, we got stuck in a forest and ambushed by the plants. The ground became spike growth under our feet, and 4 man-eating trees encroached on us. So our paladin rushed the nearest tree to him, dashing through 30 feet of spike growth to reach it. He was almost dead when he got to the tree, which then swallowed him up and proceeded to drop him to 0 HP. He only survived because our DM fudged some movement to get his NPC healer in close enough to throw a healing word at him. Drow Warlock touches an artifact, takes a shitload of radiant damage, and drops from max HP to 0 HP, barely avoiding an insta-death due to a successful save. Ta-da! Bard heals Warlock to half his max HP. Drow Warlock goes and touches the artifact again. I would slap this person. Most of my characters, throwing myself into a group of difficult monsters my party was running from to save an NPC. Becoming president, knowing many people didn't want me or wanted to take down the country and getting assassinated. Replacing my organs with ones from what was basically a god, and imploding. Crawling in the sewers with broken legs and finding a brain terrafite. Angering a group of monsters when I didn't have any good combat spells. asking to be bitten by a vampire after being told there was a high chance of death trying to fight a dragon by myself. I was playing a one-shot introductory session for my friend's birthday. He had never played, so we were doing pre-generated characters. So we had a party of me, a Goliath necromancer because, why not? My friend, a turtle barbarian, we didn't want to risk him dying during his first game, and my sister, a kobold cleric with low wisdom. Never ask the DM to make your character 30 minutes before the session. We came across a tower in a field, and after kicking the door down, we saw it was pitch black. I noted that the kobold had dark vision, to which my friend had the wonderful idea, "Then she goes in first." He picked her up and threw her. Our cleric, and only source of healing, inside with a critical success. This was his first in-game roll, by the way. The entire floor was covered in webs, and that was the only thing she could communicate to us before all we heard were screams. Long story short, the cleric got really lucky with her rolls, but my friend quickly learned that it's not a good idea to aggro an entire nest of giant spiders. One lucky bite and a failed con save later, he was downed. He didn't die at the end thanks to our very generous DM, but he got close. This did not stop him from throwing the cleric into any dark rooms we found. Well, here is my tale of Darwin Awards. In my campaign, I gave everyone a bauble of poison immunity. It was mostly for the mage who wanted to be an alchemist of sorts. It needed to be activated before using, and it would only last for, 30 minutes. The party would have to make sure to activate it before eating at a suspicious place, drinking suspicious liquids, or tasting ingredients a la Skyrim to discover their effects. First session, the wizard forgot to activate his bauble and chugged a bunch of ingredients to see all their effects at the same time. The poor sod melted into a pile of goo as a few bottles he consumed were labeled as acid. Yeah, read the labels, people. They were in a lab of an old alchemist. Said alchemist was a pile of bones in the corner. Horde of the Dragon Queen spoilers. Alert! Alert! Horde of the Dragon Queen spoilers. Tune out or tune ahead if you want to hear the next story. But this one has spoilers. Ready? Okay, cool. The man played only low-intelligent fighters and barbarians. It was the assault on Green Nest from Horde of the Dragon Queen. Spoilers! And the blue dragon was attacking the keep. Everyone else got to cover after the dragon hit them with a frightening presence. One failed and ran, the others followed her since she was the de facto leader. This man decided to walk out and scream an insult challenging the dragon. "Why don't you come down here and fight like a man?" Obviously, his intent was to goad the dragon to land and fight them in melee range, so that he could actually hit it, since all he had were javelins and a great axe. To his credit, I gave it a roll, his persuasion versus its insight. One horrible failure later, the dragon quirked an eyebrow and said, "No," and hit the poor level 1 PC with a full breath of lightning. I asked him if he wanted me to roll it or go with the average. He said roll. I told him the damage. He told me he was outright dead. "Sorry, man, but you did try to goad a dragon." "That's fair. I'll just make a new character real quick." What surprised me was how accepting he was of this award. He just said he knew what he was doing, so I guess it was a rare moment of someone accepting the full consequences of, "It's what my character would do." Best one I heard from a friend was when they were in a house of mirrors. Breaking the mirrors revealed secret passages of, more mirrors. One of the party members tried to guiding bolt their way through and rolled a nat 20. Radiant damage. They tried to destroy mirrors with light and ended up just destroying themselves instead. Tis was one of my first characters, a dwarf fighter. He crossed a bridge on top a snowy mountain above the lair of a dragon. Tried to show off. Jumped from the bridge down the ravine on the back of the sleeping dragon to firmly plant his two-handed sword in the dragon's back. With the force of the fall, he slipped. Didn't manage to position himself properly for the fall or break it in any way. Rolled a 1 for the save. Made noise. The dragon just looked up, narrowed his maw, and swallowed him whole. Instant death, but a good snack for the dragon. It was the Dungeons & Dragons board game, showing my age here, and I was playing the wizard, a role I often play even in 5th edition. The castle area we were supposed to enter had one guard in the keep. I asked politely if we can go inside, and he smirked and said, "Yeah, sure." Cue me 3 seconds later being perforated by spears in the trapped hallway leading to the main entrance. We had a barbarian with the lowest intelligence score allowed in the game. We're just starting Tomb of Horrors and we're at the entrance. The corridor starts with a series of pit traps which he effortlessly steps around because the barbarian trap sense. And then he gets to the end with the green devil face with a sphere of annihilation in his mouth. So, of course, he has to reach inside. So, halfway into the campaign, a dwarf joins our party. While he's new, he knows what happened in the story and adventure so far, including how much our DM loves his traps. All DMs have like this weird murder boner for traps. I love it. As we come across an abandoned mansion on our way to the city, we decide to check it out. Our dwarf interpreted this as rushing in the front door, smashing it in, and got immediately blown up by an explosive device. It would have been an instant death in the first 10 minutes of the game, so our DM allowed me to try and heal him. Thankfully, I rolled well enough and I patched up the dwarf. He was badly scarred, but from then onward, he had the ability to smell out explosives, and he never forgot to check for traps ever again. First campaign I ever played in. I played a tiefling bard and was the only healer. The storm sorcerer decided to pick a fight with a non-aggressive orc. Lightning lured the chieftain towards his low-level self, and got upset when it absolutely bodied him. Hey everyone, Brian Von VA here, just checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell, but don't slip, trip, and fall and roll a nat 1 while ringing it because, you might join the others in a beautiful Darwin Award in doing so. That said, make sure to leave a comment down below with your Darwin Award story or one that you have witnessed yourself. We do so love them, especially me, because I get a good giggle out of them sometimes. That said, come say hi to me too, Brian Von VA, over at brianvonva.com. You can find my socials. I usually stream on Twitch down in the description below. Also, I try to end things on a positive note. Just want to say one thing. And this is something I said on Twitter, but I want to say it here too. I'm grateful for the 4+ years that I've worked for MrRipper as his voice actor and narrator. I have met hundreds of you viewers out there in the world, sometimes in person, very rarely, but in person too. And I get a lot of love and weird messages and emails that I have to sort through all the time, and it flusters me in a great way because I don't understand the power of my own voice, and I don't understand just how many people love hearing it and how much joy I bring to the world. So I want to say thank you, and I look forward to continually building this channel with MrRipper and with you guys and gals and everyone in between, and I just want everybody to know I really appreciate all of you. Love you all. Please be safe, happy, healthy, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.